Hey guys, how you doing? It's Guy here from BlueHub. I'm back with another day video. In this one, we're going to take a look at how we manage contact data for both customers and suppliers in Deer. I'm going to show you some of the standard features and also some of the more cool features that Deer offers that are either underutilized or people might not expect to see in an inventory system like this. So the first screen I'm on is all of my customer data. There's a similar section that looks almost identical that's for my suppliers. So within the screen, I can see all of my customers in here. Now I've got it searched to just my active customers. So anyone that I've marked as inactive or no longer data that we want to track is being hidden from me. So really good if you need to archive off old companies that have now disappeared. You can use this top bar here to search. And with all the search in Deer, it's keyword search. So if I now search direct, it's going to pull up the same company. I don't have to search from the start of the name across. Also on here, I can see there's many fields showing and I can edit this display. So if I now want to remove email and website, I can, and it gives me a nice cleaner view. You'll also notice over here, I can see the balance due for this company. And this, if you are integrated with Xero or QuickBooks, is actually synced across. So as they're paying off their statements or invoices in Xero with your accounts team, that's then mirrored in Deer. I can also see if this customer is on hold as a result of hitting their credit limit. So in a couple of minutes, we're going to dive into the clothing direct account to view a bit more information. But a really nice feature of Deer, and this goes for every single section of it. So where I'm looking at contact data, product data, stock data, orders, I can instantly export and import that data. So what I'm going to do here is just go over and export my customers, and straight away it downloads. So I can now pull that up. It's going to pull it up in Excel, then I can bring that across. And then you can hopefully see on the screen now the product data that we have there. So what we're now going to do is take a deeper dive into this. Actually, before I do that, I want to show you the other side so we can import. So if I now want to import a heap of new customers, I can come to this page, download the template, start to type in the contact data, and actually Deer needs very little data in order for you to set up a customer. All you essentially need is a company name and a contact name. After that, all the other data is optional, obviously important, but not required to do that initial upload of contacts. So heading back to the list, what we're going to do now is take a bit of a look at the clothing direct account. So within here now, I can see all of the fields, and these are exactly the fields that are exported into the spreadsheet. So you can edit this in Excel if you're changing everything in bulk. So say if we're no longer using TNT as a carrier for any customers, I can then manage that in bulk, or I can come into each individual one and set to an alternative default carrier. Looking through some of this key data here, then we've obviously got the company name, whether they're active or not, what currency they use. We also have their payment terms, so all this can pull across their invoices. You also have account mapping rules for how this pulls over to your accounts, be it Xero, QuickBooks, or Deer's internal ledgers. Then we also have our sales price tiers. Now we cover this in a few other videos, but there are 3 different ways that you can manage prices against a customer in Deer. The first level is a tier. So someone will be on the trade tier and they pay that tier across all the products. Another one might be on like a retail price. After the tiers, we then have customer specific prices, and that's what you can see over here. So anything that this customer has a special price on would be listed here. So that would then override the price tier. And then the third level are things like quantity-based discounts. So like buy 10 of this item and then get a special price. But we have other videos on the channel about that. So take a look at those videos, subscribe so you can learn more about Deer. All right, so back to it. We also then have like tax rules. So if they're outside of the country that you're in and there's slightly different tax procedures that you need to follow, you can set that rule, then it's automatically applied to all of their orders. If you're a company that has sales reps or sales teams, you can either default this to an actual individual or a user in the system, or you can just use some standard ones that would be used for, say, managing different sales channels, something like that, so that you can then report on the different sources of those sales. If you have multiple locations, warehouses, or you operate in different countries, you can also default different warehouse locations that they're going to try and pull their stock from. And over here, we can see their credit limit. So once that balance owing then meets this credit limit, it will automatically pop them on hold. You can still enter an order, but you can only save it as a draft. You then have to come in here and either clear their credit limit or take them off hold in order to process that. So it pops up in nice red letters, this person's on hold, so then you can't proceed the order. We then have our additional attributes, which gives you 10 custom fields that you can put against customers or suppliers. Again, all of this works exactly the same for suppliers. The attributes are really nice if you want to either use different levels of categorization for your reports. So maybe this is like a big public company, or they're in a particular sector, or it can also be things like they need certain bits of information against their orders. They're just flexible fields that we can either make drop down or free text, so that then we can pull over customer specific data. And then for a bit more flexibility around that, you can also use tags. So for instance, these guys are in the clothing sector, we're going to say they're an SME, I'm going to say they're UK based, and all of these tags play into the reports. So now I could look at sales by SME clients in the UK in Deer. So it really gives you a lot of benefits when you come to the reporting section here using tags and additional attributes. So some nice cool features with Deer is one, multiple addresses and locations are all managed under one account. So with a few other systems in the cloud space, each site has its own record, which can cause some complications and doesn't quite feel right. But within Deer, all of that sits under the one parent company. Likewise with contacts, I can set multiple contacts and different roles for them, and then I can decide if I want to include them on emails. So say the accounts team, I want to include those as default on emails, so that when we send them the invoices, it goes over to Jane, and then Tim we can just optionally add as we're sending out, say, quotes or anything like that. That then leads on nicely to this, the default template. So within another section of Deer, you can set up all of your document designs and email designs, so that when you come to send out an invoice, it uses the right record. What we can do in here actually is select different versions of those templates. So say for instance, I always want them to have the standard invoice template, but then on the order, I want to send them a pro forma at that stage. And for this one, I want to use our new test quote. Then what happens here is when we come to send the documents out to the client, it will automatically select these ones. So this is most commonly used by our clients on things like the delivery note or box label or packing slip when they're sending goods out of the country, say into the EU, because we're based in the UK. We need different bits of information like intrastat codes, EC codes, so that we can get through the customs on that side. So anything that's sent domestically is going to have very different delivery documents to those things sent to the EU. So this way we can default that once, and then it's automatically applied to all of this customer's orders. We also have a level of history against this customer too, so you can see their recent sales and when they place them. With all of these, they're hyperlinked, so I can jump back into these sales. This is showing me what products they buy, when they last bought them, and what quantities they purchased. Sales by document then looks at each individual order, and it gives you a status. So this is really nice for doing like account management. Say the customer calls up and they ask where we're at with order 8. I can then search for that. I can tell them the warehouse have just finished picking that order. This is a really useful tool for like customer management and account management. And then finally on the menu, we've got invitations. So Deer has a really good B2B ordering portal where you can invite your customers to log into a different part of Deer, and then they can place their orders directly on the system. And it's going to use all that information we saw on those other pages to make sure that they see the products they want to buy at the prices that you've agreed with them. And then they can make payments, or they can even pay on account if they have space in their credit limit. So a couple of more advanced features here that we think are really, really neat is the task management and the generation of sales. So up here, We can use like pseudonymized, so we can have different naming conventions. Over here, if we have different languages that we're going to use, we can name their company different things. This also works on products as well, so we can set up multiple languages for names of companies or products. So if you're working with anyone in Asia, you can have the name in your local language and then also using their language too. We also have the ability to generate sales or opportunities, which are essentially like a lead with this client from here. So if I click onto this now, I'm taking the role of a salesperson here. I pull up an opportunity and now I can start entering all the details against this customer to build up the opportunity. This obviously then gets converted to sales, and we've got lots of other videos about these more sales focused features that you can check out. And then the final thing is the task management. Now there's two really nice parts to this. So we're going to come to this workflow function in a moment. But what this is useful for is I can put a task on myself to give this client a checkup call. I'm going to do that later this week. I'm going to assign that to me. And then I can say, check how it is. Okay. And then I can save it. So this task then will show here. So any other user can see what tasks we've got coming up. And then I also have it in my calendar. So as we scroll down a little bit into March, not quite going for me, we'll see my task for that. Now, the workflows are a really, really neat feature. So what this allows us to do is to set up automated tasks. So a really common one for this is once I've sent a quote, send them a chaser 2 days later. So I can send them a quote and then automatically the system is going to email them again with a chaser to accept or reject that quote. It might also be that we want to do just an annual little follow-up, how you do in email. So all of these you get to set once and then it will automatically apply to that customer or that group of customers. So workflows are a really neat feature within Deer that allow you to get a lot more efficiency out of it and just take away some of that general like admin that you're having to do. Okay, so I hope this video was useful. Let us know down below if there's anything else you want to know about managing customers or supplier data in Deer. And in the meantime, check out some of our videos on the channel if you're looking to learn a bit more about Deer and how to get more from it. Thank you.